Right, so cumulative frequency, this one. And I've got a table already drawn up for you. Give some time and frequency. So let's see if we can find some information to, well, let's put it into context, why don't we? So, I don't know, we can say that 30 men were asked to do 100 push-ups, okay? 30 men were asked to do 100 push-ups. And we checked to see how long it took them to do 100 push-ups. So one man, it took him between 20 and 30 seconds to do that 100 push-ups. 3 men took between 30 and 40 seconds to do it. So this is time in seconds. Okay. And we've got 6 men took between 40 and 50 seconds. 12 men took up to a minute to do it, and so on. You got the idea. Okay, good. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this information and we're going to represent it on a cumulative frequency graph or cumulative frequency diagram. Before we can even do that, we need to work out what the cumulative frequency is, because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be plotting the time against the cumulative frequency. The word cumulate, or to accumulate, means to add up, to bring together, to put together. So you guessed it, we will be adding up all the frequencies to find the cumulative frequency. Well, the first one is 1, so that's just going to be 1. The second one is going to be 3 plus 1. I'll write that down for you here, 3 plus 1. Sorry, already thinking of the answer. 3 plus 1, so that's going to be 4 then. The next one is going to be your 4 plus your 6 that you've got there. So always the last answer plus the next one. So this is going to give us 10 there. The next one is going to be your 10 plus your 12. So that's going to be 10 plus that 12. So that's going to be 22. I'll finish this off because I think you got the idea now. Okay, so filled out the information. Now this bit in red, you don't actually need to write this down. If you're ever given it in an exam, you just need to know how to work it out. This is all we're interested in. We're not really interested in that. This just shows you how to get these answers here. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to plot this information on a graph. Okay, so I've transferred my table from the page I was just working on over to my new page, and now I'm about to do my graph. Now, because I'm plotting against time in seconds, it took these guys to do their 100 push-ups. I'm going to put my time on the x-axis there, and I'm going to say time is in seconds, and on my y-axis is going to be my cumulative frequency. So I'll just put CF on that for cumulative frequency. Lovely. Now, this is where a lot of students get this wrong, okay? Now, here, my cumulative frequency goes up to 30. I don't put these answers on here. I just need to pick a scale and write my numbers all the way up to 30 there. So that's mistake number 1 a lot of students make, okay? So I'm just going to choose a scale and put that on. Okay, lovely. So just to draw your attention then, I've chosen a scale of 1 centimeter to 5 units. So because I'm going up to 30, I've decided to count in 5s. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And along the bottom here, this is where I'm going to tell you about mistake number 2. Some students don't plot the right numbers from here. So you need to only plot the upper bound. So you've got 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50. We are only interested in these numbers on the right side here. So I'll just pretty much highlight them. These are the numbers we're interested in. And those are the numbers that we plot on our x-axis. Okay. Now, when we go to plot now, we're going to plot 30 against 1. 40 against 4, 50 against 10, and so on, 60 against 22. So we're only plotting these upper numbers against the numbers that we have on our cumulative frequency. That's why it's called a cumulative frequency curve. So let's go 30 against 1. So that's going to give me my first point just there. It's just going to be a dot for you. Then we're going to plot 40 against 4. So 40 against 4. So what I'll do is I'll pause the video here and just finish off the plotting. Okay, so I've got all my points in. So 50 against 10, as you can see there and there. 60 against 22. 70 against 25, and so on. Now what I will do is I am going to neatly draw this curve because I will need to read information off this curve. So it's really important that it is as accurate as possible. Another thing to pay attention to is also the fact that I started on 30 here, didn't give any consideration for what happens before. Okay, so the difficult job now is going to be, well, connecting all the dots. So we need to connect all those. So I'll pause the video here again, and then I'm just going to draw the graph because I'm pretty sure I'll make lots of mistakes. It's not, but by that I mean it's not going to be drawn neatly, and I need to try and draw it as neatly as possible. Okay, that wasn't too bad. So there I have my cumulative frequency curve. Now, once you've got your cumulative frequency curve, you could be asked a whole heap of questions. I'm just going to go through the common ones that you will be asked. So, for example, you probably will be asked to find the median or the median time that these men took to do their 100 push-ups. So I'll work that out down here. So the median time, let's get that written down. So the median is going to be the halfway point. So it's a half of the nth value. Now, in case you don't know what the nth value is, the nth value is always the maximum number on your cumulative frequency. Okay, so whatever this is, that's always your n. So we want half of the nth value. So what we're looking for is a half of 30. So we're looking for the 15th value, That is not the answer. We're just looking for the 15th value. So what that means we need to do now, it means we need to go to our cumulative frequency, find the 15 on the cumulative frequency axis, go across and read that information off. So I'm going to let you see me do that now. So I'm going to find my 15th value. I'm going to go across here, and then I'm going to read that off going down here. For that, I might actually put some lines on there. So my 15th value is there. So go across there. And as soon as you touch the curve, you read that off going down. So I'll just move that over here. So because this is 50, and we got 5 spaces, this is probably counting in twos. So 52, 54. So 54 seconds is going to be the time, the median time. Okay, so we're going to say here, median time is 54 seconds. Okay, right. Another thing that they might ask you to find is the interquartile range, or the IQR. So I'm going to write that down as the IQR. Now, to find the interquartile range, we need to find the upper quartile, which is Q3, and take away the lower quartile, which is Q1. I forgot to mention while I was doing that the median is Q2. Okay, so you might see that as median is the Q2, so that's the middle value. So we need to work out the upper and lower quartile, and we'll work them out in the exact same way we worked out the median. So our Q3 is 3/4 of the nth value, and our Q1 is 1/4 of the nth value. Okay, so basically really easy to remember. Upper quartile means upper quarter, so it's 3/4. Lower quartile means lower quarter, which is 1/4. So that's my upper quartile, that's my lower quartile. And I'll do exactly what I did with the median. So I will do 3/4 of 30. And for the lower quartile, I'll do 1/4 of 30. Okay, now for my 3/4 of 30, I'm looking for the value that's in the 7.5 or the 7.5 position. We can't really find that, so you can round it up. So just look for the number in the 8th position, okay? Number in the 8th position. And the same thing here. Sorry, I made a terrible mistake there. Let me just fix that now. 7.5 is 1/4. So I probably should do that over here then, and say that that's the number in the 7.5 or the 8th position. Okay, we'll work that out in a minute. And for this one, for 3/4 now, we're looking for 22.5. So we're looking for the 23rd, the number in the 23rd position. Okay, it's be 22.5, but we'll just round it up. Okay, remember that these are all estimates, so they're not exact answers. Okay, so we're looking for the number in the 23rd position. That's my upper quartile. So let's go and find that then. So I'll go back to my graph, and the number in the 23rd position is going to be just 21, 22, 23, just there, and then I will read that off. So let's go and get that sorted out. So 23rd position, draw the line across. As soon as it touches the graph, I'm going to now draw it down. So that's going to go down there like so. Let's move that across in the right position. And it looks like this number is 62 seconds. Okay, so I'm just going to put that here now for my lower quartile and say that this is 62 seconds. Take away. I should probably put that in here. Approximately 62 seconds is my upper quartile, I should say, sorry, my upper quartile. Now my lower quartile, I'm looking for the number in the 8th position. So here we go. So here we have 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need a line across there. And again, I'm going to go for my line across there. Number in the 8th position is going to be just there. As soon as it touches the graph, I need a line going down, and just make sure that this is absolutely perfect. Just averaging again. So because obviously, as you can see, my graph is well dodgy. So this is going to be 42, 44, 46, 48 seconds there. So I'm just going to update my lower quartile now. So my lower quartile says that this is approximately 48 seconds. So 48 seconds go here, and that means that my interquartile range is 14 seconds. Okay, what does this information basically mean? Okay, so what this means is, on average then, let's go back to the median, it means that on average, the time that these men are actually taking, these 30 men that I looked at, on average, it took them 54 seconds to do 100 push-ups. Now, the majority of my cohort, the majority of the men that I looked at, this is where we're going to have a range of the time that they've taken. So they're taking between 48 and 52 seconds, which gives us a range of 14 seconds. This means that you have a tightly packed group because your interquartile range is small. It basically means that the information that you gather are let's just say this a bit more reliable than if your interquartile range was quite big. So you have a small spread. You have to use that word if you're going to answer a question like this in the exam. They might ask you about, comment on the spread of the data. Because this number is quite small for your interquartile range, then you can say, because you've got a small spread, the data is a bit more reliable. If this was quite a big number, then you can say that there's lots of movement within the data. You have a big spread, which means that the information you gather might not be as reliable as you'd want it to be. Okay, and that's basically it, guys. That is it for cumulative frequency. These are generally the questions that you'll be asked. Just remember these formulas and how to find upper quartile, lower quartile. Interquartile range is the upper quartile, take away the lower quartile. Don't forget that once you found it, you find it on the y-axis, touch the graph, read it off on the x-axis, because what we're interested in is the time it takes these men to do the 100 push-ups. We're not interested in this number. This is just helping us to find the time. Okay, that's what the question was about. It was time. Right, so I hope that was straightforward. Hope it was enjoyable. Any questions, let me know.